I regret every single one of my tattoos, all of them. When I got them, I was like, oh, this isn't something that I'm ever gonna want off me. This is like a chapter in my life. This is something that I went through. It's a memory, so it's just gonna be there. Tattoos are something that will make you feel uncomfortable and awkward as hell in situations that you never thought you were gonna give a shit about, but really you do, because appearance does help people gauge what kind of person you are, what kind of lifestyle you live, and if they want to be associated with you or not. It can hinder you in job situations. It can hinder you in business dealings. It can hinder you in your child having friends with other people and their families, because they're going to look at you and think whatever. And you can always say, oh yeah, like I don't care what people think. It's not about them. It's about me. Young people, trust me when I tell you this. You will almost certainly regret all of your tattoos, especially when you become a parent. I promise you're going to regret them. Unless you are in the lifestyle of like tattoo artistry. When you're 40, you're going to regret it. And when you're 80, it's going to look like a blob on you. These things are an embarrassment. I'm ashamed. And I wish to hell I could get them off. You couldn't have told me shit when I was 23 years old. You couldn't have told me I wasn't going to love the tattoos for the rest of my life. Now I'm stuck with my birthday on my arm and a diamond next to it because I didn't know what to get, but I wanted something on my arm, and now it's just ridiculous. There's a lot of situations where I meet people and I go to shake their hand and they see all this stuff, and I just know they're formulating like some sort of idea of who I am. And I know that tattoos should not be an indication of your character or your lifestyle. But we are living in reality, not Delulu land. So we are going to understand and agree right now that it is. When you see him, it is. When I see him, it is. You deduce what you're dealing with based on the person's physical appearance. I hope I de-influence somebody, and I hope that person's not going to get a tattoo because of me. So check out those 18-month ones at Fade. It's your best bet. Love y'all. See you later.
Now that tattoo regret thing is trending, I have to talk about my experience as someone that started getting tattoos at like 14, 15. I got a bunch really young. I'm 22 now, and I'm pretty heavily tattooed. I have all my ribs, my hips, my whole back. Yeah, done. And I have really big pieces too. People ask me all the time if I regret any of them, because I do. Like, you can't really tell right now, but I have very big, bold, dark pieces. And the answer is like, no, absolutely not. I do not regret any of them. I knew from like when I was super young that I wanted to be tattooed. It's like, I love my aesthetic of them and all of that, but I just knew I was someone that wanted to be covered in tattoos. And I think that's the difference between people that have tattoo regret now and people that don't. I always pictured myself with tattoos. I feel like my friends and family tell me that when they see old pictures of me without tattoos, which the old pictures are very young of me because I'm only 22 and I have like a lot of my body covered, that they don't even see that. Like, I look like so much more like myself with my tattoos than when I didn't have them. And I fully agree. Like, even the tattoos that I wouldn't necessarily pick to get now, I don't regret them. And I think a lot of the tattoo regret, I tend to see the same exact tattoos that people are regretting. And it is just that like style that was trendy a few years ago, like kind of 2020, some before that. And it's just trendy tattoos. Like, that's the easiest way to say it. And always, okay, maybe not always, but it's hands and fingers and neck, places that I will never get tattooed. As someone that does want to be covered in tattoos, I will never get my hands, my fingers, or my neck tattooed. I have the back of my neck tattooed, but that's a little bit different to me. I'm staying away from like the front of my body. I have some stuff that wraps around, but yeah, like this area and like my legs, I'm not planning to get really tattooed. I've always gone to the same tattoo shop since I was a young girl, and they're very traditional style and traditional tattooers, like exactly what you picture as tattooers. And a tattoo shop, that's what I go to, which is intimidating. And I think there is, well, not really to me, but like the vibe is intimidating. But I understand that. But I see a lot of these new tattoo shops that are kind of trendy, almost look like hair salons. Like, I don't know how to describe it, like almost look like med spa type things, and not tattoo shops, not artists tattoo shops. And they do everything on AI, they do everything on iPads. It just seems like dead art, and my tattoo artists aren't like that. I basically let them have free reign. They know what I like, they know me, they know my personality, and I am lucky to have like that relationship with like my shop. But I think it is something, you know, it's permanent artwork on your body. I think they should know you, and they should know your vibe and your energy, and I've just never been let down. the stuff I see people regretting is just like stuff that they try to be so meaningful with, and I honestly don't think tattoos need that much meaning. I don't think it has to be a deep quote. I have a couple quotes on me. I have a couple words. I have my son's name, a tattoo from my grandpa. I have a tattoo that says dad, and I have Carpe Diem on my hip. And my thing with quotes and tattoos is like, if you get something really meaningful, and a lot of times you get it in script or you get it in cursive or a different language and people ask what it says, then you have to tell them almost like a deep quote. And then it's just the reactions will be kind of like, oh, okay, you know, because it's like so deep. I just don't think tattoos need to be deep. I think you're either a tattoo person or you're not a tattooed person. And I think too many people got tattooed, and obviously that's why it's tattoo regret. But that's not common. Like, a lot of people don't have that vibe. A lot of people don't, you know, I just think it's more rare than what it's been made out to be the last few years. And yeah, a lot of people that aren't tattoo people got tattooed, and that's where the regret is coming from. And I think it should be more niche. I think tattooing should be and is more niche than what it got really normalized to be. And yeah, I will never get any of my tattoos removed. Like, as of now, if I don't want any of them, I'd get them covered. The only tattoos I regret, which I don't regret any of them, but that I wouldn't get again, are just stuff that's too small and kind of in awkward spots that I can't get like a really big piece that I want there, so I have to cover it. Yeah, the only regrets I've had with tattoos is like when I've gone too small, and that's what I tell people. Or when girls ask me for tattoo advice, I'm like, just don't go small, just don't go small. And they're like, oh, I'm getting a tiny one, and it's like, no, that actually messes up everything. And yeah, that's my experience with tattoo regret. I've actually only become more addicted to tattoos as I get more, and yeah, you'll never see me in a laser shop personally unless I'm getting something lasered to cover it easier with something bigger.
Imagine, if you will, that you put a shirt on once when you were in your 20s, and now you have to wear that for the rest of your life. And that is what it feels like to get heavily tattooed before you turn into a fully developed adult human. I wanted to talk about, there's like a lot of reasons to regret my tattoos, but today specifically I wanted to talk about not matching my aesthetic, right? So I think if you asked almost anybody that's over 30, if they have a better idea of who they are in their 30s than they did in their 20s, they're gonna be like, oh my God, yes. I have all of these tattoos that don't necessarily reflect who I am at 36. They might have reflected a moment in time in my 20s, maybe a moment in time that I was like not doing so well mentally, and they are here forever. Before anybody says anything, no, I'm not getting all of my tattoos removed. Like, that's not even feasible. Don't even suggest it. Generally, I have like a lot more femme, girly aesthetic than I did when I was younger. I was a lot more dark and spooky and moody, and now like I have adult problems. I'm back to doing a bunch of stuff I liked to do when I was a kid, like collecting antiques and spending time outside, and I wear a lot of white and ruffles. My aesthetic just does not match. No shade to the artists, still get a ton of compliments on them, just wish that they weren't on my body. But I wanted to come on here and put myself out there and say I was told that I would regret my tattoos when I got older. I am older and I do regret my tattoos, and you might too.
I will be the first one to say, actually, I'm not the first. I don't know if anybody's ever said this, but they probably have. I'm jealous of the girls with no tattoos. I'm jealous of you. I want to know who spoke to you before you turned 18. I want to know where your head was at when you turned 18. Like, were you not like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go get tattoos and piercings now? Like, what was the thought process? Because I obviously did not have that one. And I literally, y'all, looking at my tattoos sometimes, specifically my left arm that has the dragon and this tattoo, makes my skin crawl. Is that normal? Like, I know that I've talked before about my tattoo regret on here, but truly, like, oh my gosh, I hate my tattoos. Like, I literally, when I see girls who are a blank canvas, I get so jealous. Like, genuinely, I need to calm down. And if I stare too long at them in the mirror, I will literally feel sick because I hate them that bad. So hopefully one day I will have none again. But with the pain that tattoo removal is, because I've already experienced it one time, I'm gonna need deep prayers because I don't know. Also, I feel like what it is for me is looking busy, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but like if I'm wearing something, so for instance, today at the gym, I wore these tiger leggings, but I keep my jacket on the whole time because with the tattoos, like it just looks busy. Like I don't like it. And sometimes I won't even wear certain clothes or show my arms or like anything because it looks busy. It just doesn't look polished, if that makes sense. Like I just feel like some of it just doesn't go together. I don't know, girl. I think I'm thinking too much into it, but I just hope this helps someone because tattoo regret is real, okay? And the Pinterest tattoos, I'm gonna leave it there. Also, I just want to say that when I see other people's tattoos, these are not thoughts that come to my mind. It's literally just with my tattoos. Like, what? What is this? What is this? What is... Oh, are you okay?
So I don't know if anybody else with tattoos experiences this, but there is like an immediate regret of like tattoo regret when you're getting like the stencil placed on, or even right after you get tattooed, like when you're leaving the shop or like driving home. I've gotten that a lot, and that's how I think you know that the tattoo is good. I don't know if that makes sense. That's not going to make sense to people that have never felt this way, but yeah, like I just got these tiger lilies, and it is just like a sort of thing where it's like, oh my god, I just got something so permanent on my body. Like, that's crazy. Nobody talks about how crazy tattoos is, like, or tattoos are. Like, they are permanent. And I permanently, like, that is so sick. That is so sick. But then it's like the weeks after, especially after it's healed completely, you're like, damn, I don't know who I was. Like, I don't know how I went throughout life without that as a part of me. That's how I feel with all my tattoos, besides like some tiny ones I don't like. But it's like I'm so much more me with the more tattoos I get. Does that make sense? Like, this is so perfect for me, and I don't know why I waited so long to get her. But there is always that, like, even right before, I'm like, am I really gonna do this? Like, I don't know, since I've been getting older, I mean, I'm 22, but I have been trying to think things through more. But also I'm like, well, it's too late now. I already have too many to not keep going. And that's gonna sound like to people like, see, she hates her tattoos. No, I love my tattoos. I don't think there's many people that love their tattoos as much as I love my tattoos. But being honest, yeah, there is like a weird feeling that goes around getting tattoos, especially lately in the past year, where everybody talks about how much they hate their tattoos. It almost gaslights me into thinking like, do I fucking hate my tattoos? And I don't at all. But hearing like everybody else like fully sleeved, fully tattooed, like, I'm going through laser for the next 10 years of my life, like, personally, I never say never, but I would just never do that. That does not sound like a good time. Yeah, I would never do that. But you do have to be a specific type of person to get tattoos. And I know I am that type of person, and maybe people don't know themselves well enough when they get tattooed. I don't know. Like, look how cool it is. Like, oh my god, it's so cool. And yeah, I could never fall into the trap of tattoo regret. Like I said, I have tattoos I don't really like, but they're so small, and like, I wouldn't get them lasered, or I would probably just get them covered. But we have forgotten as a society that tattoos are supposed to be niche. Not everybody's supposed to have tattoos. Not even 50% of people are supposed to have tattoos. And yeah, that might sound like I'm trying to be like, I'm special, I'm unique, but think about it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. You're getting something permanently inked into your body. Not like 50% of the population is not meant for that, honestly. You know? So yeah, that's just my tattoo thoughts for the day.
Does anybody else that has tattoos, do y'all regret them? Because I do. When I was 18 and when I first started getting my tattoos, I loved them. I was like all the time wanting to go get another tattoo. I was on Pinterest. I was like, oh, I want this one, this one, and this one. Make an appointment. I would go get a tattoo. I was just blowing money on tattoos. And I loved them. I loved how they looked then. Now that I've gotten older, I absolutely hate my tattoos. Like, I hate looking in the mirror, looking at my tattoos. I hate wearing a tank top. I'm wearing one right now, but it's hot. I hate wearing tank tops and stuff like that because I hate the way my tattoos look on me. I don't know if it's just where I'm gotten older, but my parents and my grandparents, they all said, you're going to regret them. And I was like, no, I'm not. I regret them. I regret every single one of them. And if I can go back in time, I wouldn't have gotten a single one. I feel like I've ruined my body. And this is just my opinion about myself. I hate them. I absolutely hate my tattoos. I wish I never got them done, and I wish I can get them removed, but that obviously costs a lot of money. But no, I should have listened to my parents, my grandparents, because they were right. But yeah, especially this one. I hate this one, especially wearing a tank top. I absolutely hate it, but that's just my opinion.
I have some incredibly dumb tattoos on my body, and I thought it'd be fun today for us to all laugh at them and do a tattoos I regret tour. The one that might take the cake is a tattoo that I got when I was dating a boy. Well, I thought I was dating a boy, but it turns out half of Los Angeles was also dating this boy, so maybe we weren't really dating. I got really drunk with him and his family one night, and I got a matching tattoo with his dad's girlfriend at the time. That's not the bad part. The bad part is it's Braille. You can't feel it. I mean, you could when it was scabbing, but now you can't feel it. It has no specific meaning to me. I don't even know what it says in Braille. All of the dots are just different sizes, and it looks horrible. Oh, and people constantly ask me if there's dirt on my arm and try to wipe it off, and I'm like, no, that's not dirt. That is just a permanent part of my body. This tattoo on the tattoo tour I regret is when I was newly friends with this guy, and he was like, I got a tattoo gun on Amazon, I really want to test it out. And me being the people pleasing, not ever thinking of consequences person that I was like, oh, you can totally try it out on me. And he attempted to do a moon on my ankle. He kept going over it like a million times for 20 minutes. It hurt so bad. It looks disgusting. And my mom constantly asks me why I have a D on my foot, because she thinks it looks more like a D than a moon, and I really can't blame her. The last and final one for now is actually, it's not one I regret, but it's one that it was just a silly spur of the moment decision, and thank gosh it's only on my ankle, but it is the FaZe logo. Now, do I know anything about FaZe Clan? No. Do I know anything about video games? No. But do I permanently have the FaZe Clan logo on my ankle? Yes.
I personally regret every single tattoo I've ever gotten.
I'm a tattooer of 17 years, and I would love to discuss what this creator is talking about. If you hear a funny noise, it's just my chickens and my baby. So what this lady is talking about is something that I think definitely isn't talked about enough, which is complete tattoo regret. She regrets every tattoo that she's ever got them, and if the opportunity arose, would erase them all. And this is something that's a little bit on topic, I think, because people like Kat Von D are blacking out, removing their tattoos, trying to reset to a clean slate. And the reason that it's important to talk about is that these younger generation of 18, 19, 20-something-year-olds coming through getting tattooed need to hear it from this perspective so that they can make informed choices on their tattoo journeys. So there are a lot of different reasons why people would get tattooed, mostly aesthetic. Some are sentimental, some are really, really informed, some are just art, collection, that kind of thing. All reasons for getting tattoos are valid. And there are a lot of different reasons to regret a tattoo, a lot of different type of tattoo regrets, but this one specifically is complete tattoo regret. And something that I might get a little bit of hate for saying is that I think that when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you haven't had that hindsight experience of watching fashions trend through cycles of, different aesthetics, different trends, different fads, all those types of things. And in the new age, those things cycle through so much faster than they used to. Fashion year cycles used to take 10 to 20 years. But now we're seeing things come and go in a matter of like 2 to 3 years. And what it's important to remember is that when you get tattooed, your tattoos are freezing you in the aesthetic that you are in at that time when you got them. So with this lovely lady that did the original video, I can tell just by looking at her tattoos that she got them done in the mid-2000s and that she probably got them done when she was fairly young. So then I instantly know how old she is. And I know for women, or for some women, that can be an issue. We don't really want to advertise what our age is, and so tattoos can definitely age you in a way. But I don't think that is what this lady is talking about. But when you think about trends and fads and that kind of thing, is when you want to try out a new aesthetic, when something comes in and you want to, like for example, the clean girl aesthetic of the moment, that aesthetic then is secondary to being a heavily tattooed person. Essentially, you will always be a heavily tattooed person first and then a subcategory next. So instead of being a mother, you're a heavily tattooed mother. Instead of being a businesswoman, you're a heavily tattooed businesswoman. Instead of being a clean girl, you are a heavily tattooed clean girl. And that really limits what you can then do with your appearance. So if you want to give off a first impression that isn't a heavily tattooed person, you then have to go out of your way to cover up your tattoos. And you might say, well, why would I want to cover up my tattoos? Why would I not want to be perceived as a heavily tattooed person? And the thing is that it may be wrong that people have preconceived notions of what a tattooed person is, but the fact is that they still do exist. People still do view it as a low to medium socioeconomic thing. So, and all people are going to have their own preconceived notions of what a tattooed person is, and then they're going to apply that to you, which, if you don't really care what people think, that's not a problem. But if you're in a business setting, or if you're in a school setting, or if you're in an online setting where you don't want those people's first impression of you to be those things, that low socioeconomic, rebel, unemployed, whatever preconceived notions people have, I don't agree with them, but they exist. They will be applied to you. And if you don't want them to be applied to you first, because first impressions really do matter, you then have to cover up. And from like a vanity point of view, I also want to draw attention, this is probably mainly mostly for women, is that you have to consider your tattoos in your appearance. So say if you wanted to do like a cosplay, but the character you're cosplaying doesn't have tattoos, you then have to cover your tattoos up. Say you want to put forth an elegant appearance for a nice event, you have to take into consideration your tattoos and the way people are going to view them, because it is going to draw away from elegance for some people's perceptions. And the other thing too is that it could also, from an internal perspective, maybe you were on a certain path, or maybe you were in a certain time of your life or period of your life that you're not so proud of when you got those tattoos for whatever reason, and then they, in your mind, are a symbol of that time that you don't want to remember. So if you were in a bit of a weird transitional point in your life when you were getting tattoos, in the future, that symbolism, that visual that you then have, may not feel aligned with the person that you now are. And from yet another perspective, and I touched on this earlier, is when you get tattoos, you are essentially freezing your tattoo aesthetic in that point of time. And in the 17 or so years that I've been tattooing, the advancements in tattooing have been phenomenal. What we considered a good or great tattoo 17 years ago has absolutely, it's not a drop in the ocean to what can be achieved with a tattoo machine these days. Tattoo artists all around the world are becoming so talented, and the platforms, social media platforms, give us a reason to step up our game consistently to get better and better and better. And when you get tattooed, the level of what you can achieve and plan and everything with your tattoos is frozen at that time. So other people's tattoos are going to get nicer, better, cleaner, better coverage, more creative, and your tattoos are always going to stay the same as they were the day that you got them. Except they're also going to age. That's something that even I deal with. I look at other people's tattoos and think, damn, like, I wish I could update mine. I'm very lucky, I've got some really nice tattoos, but there are some that I'm not so fond of. And contrary to popular belief, the removal process is hard. It's shit. I myself have had tattoos removed and covered up, and one, it's painful as hell. The process is really drawn out, and you have really crappy, fadey, spotty looking tattoos in that maybe 18-month process, and that's only to lighten it up to get to a point where you can cover it. To completely remove it and have no scarring really depends a lot on how the tattoo was put in the first place, how good your tattoo removalist is, whether there was scarring. My chickens are really cranky. So unfortunately for this creator, the likelihood of her being able to completely remove all of her tattoos to the point where she has no traces of them left, it's pretty unlikely or a very, very expensive, long, drawn-out process. So anybody that thinks, that's okay, I can just get them removed, it really isn't as simple as that. It's very, very painful and expensive. Now, I don't want to put anybody off the idea of getting tattoos, otherwise I would be completely out of a job. But essentially what I'm saying, and I also think what this content creator is going for, is that maybe you need to have a little bit of forward perspective, plan ahead, and definitely make sure that if you're going to get tattoos in visible places or you're going to become heavily tattooed, to really consider what your future might look like, or the fact that your future might look very different from the reality that you're living right now. And you have to be willing to commit your visual aesthetic to 5-6 decades of a future that you don't know what it's going to look like. If I had any recommendations, I would say to people, really try and plan ahead for your tattoos. I do a whole YouTube video talking about this particular topic. Choose your tattoo artist really carefully. Think about what you want your end goal of your body to look like, whether it's like, you know, patchwork, bits and pieces, and then they add up to like a very heavily tattooed, or if you would like a very clean, altogether, well patterned out visual. Those things really matter in the long-term scheme of things, and it might be better off to start or go back to the old times where we had hidden bodysuits.
Nothing says I'm a millennial more than the fact that I got a feather tattoo on my foot when I turned 18 years old. I guess at least it wasn't a dream catcher on my ribs. Things could be worse.
I regret all of my tattoos. Let's talk about it. I know that that's not the way that everybody with as many tattoos as myself feels. I have 9 tattoos, mostly on my arms and my hands, very visible areas, but tattoo regret is becoming increasingly popular, and I feel like it needs to be talked about more. Yes, I know it boils down to better decision making and, you know, being smarter about what you put on your body, especially something that is permanent. But when I was, you know, getting the tattoos that I have currently, I was very young. I was like 22, 23. I was going through a lot. This was like 7 years ago. I was going through a lot. I had just went through a breakup. I was going through some family stuff. I just felt like the world was attacking me, and I was getting to a point where I was numb and I just wanted to feel something. So tattoos seemed like a plausible form of therapy. I was also like out to prove something to the world when I got them. Like I said, recently went through a breakup. I was also starting to work in New York City, you know, in the makeup industry around a bunch of other very cool looking, artsy, edgy, successful makeup artists, and they all had like tattoos and piercings and fun hair colors, and I felt like I was this girl from like suburban New Jersey who didn't stand out, and I felt like I needed to prove something. Even though my artistry was great, I just felt like I needed to like fit in, conform, be rebellious, like prove something. And I know that that's a stereotype, but that's like how I felt at the time. I was very young. All of the tattoos I got were pretty impulsive, not well thought out. I didn't really research the artist. I literally just like went to somebody who was close that a friend had gone to. So none of them really had any like meaning or, you know, were thought out and planned. If you are going through something, or if you're going through a phase, don't get tattoos. I remember that my mom saw it and she was like so pissed off, didn't want to talk to me. She's like, what the hell are you doing? Another thing is, I'm also Jewish, and in Judaism, like, you aren't really supposed to get tattoos. A lot of Jewish people have tattoos, I know that, but like sometimes even now I feel judged by people in my community, because back then being a part of the Jewish community was not really something that was like super important. I was kind of just like straying away from everything, trying to be rebellious, and now I feel like judged and watched by people in my community because I have a lot of visible tattoos. People are probably listening to this and saying like, well, you should just get them removed. Sure, I'll get them removed, but I have a lot of tattoos. I'm not going to show all of them right now. Like, maybe I'll do a tattoo tour one day, but they're all really big, black, blotchy. They've gotten like blown out. I've gone to like dermatologists and tattoo removal places, and you want to know how much they've quoted me per session to remove, you know, my tattoos, and it's going to take probably 12 to 20 sessions. They said it would cost per session around $1,000, $700. If I pay for like this entire package, it would come out to like $700 a session, which would cost me thousands of dollars up front. Laser tattoo removal is also extremely painful. It's a very strenuous process on top of being very expensive. It limits what you're able to do, and the issue is, like, I'm a very active person. I'm constantly working with my hands. Like, I'm a makeup artist, I cook a lot, you know, I do a lot of things in my life that are outdoors, and if you get laser tattoo removal, you have to like completely cover up. You can't be exposed to the sun at all. Like, it can completely ruin the entire process. So that's an issue as well. I no longer resonate with the person I was or the style I had back when I got the tattoos. And it sucks because, like I said, I live in Florida. I kind of want to wear these like cute little sundresses and crop tops and like, you know, sports bras, working out outside, and I feel so self-conscious with all of these like big black dark tattoos. And people like will come up to me and they're like, oh, your tattoos are so cool, like they look so badass. I don't want to look badass. I don't want to look cool. That's just not my style and who I'm trying to evolve into. I also work in the bridal industry, and you know, every weekend I get to see all these beautiful brides and their beautiful like sleeveless gowns, their beautiful smooth clean arms, and I just like feel this like inner ache because I know that when I get married I'm not going to look like that. And this is not to say that brides with tattoos are not beautiful, because they are. Like, it looks so beautiful and so amazing and so special. That's just not what I envisioned for myself on my wedding day. So if you were thinking about getting a tattoo impulsively, if you're going through something, if you have family drama, if you're going through a breakup, don't get the tattoo, because your TikTok big sis is here with the receipts saying you're gonna regret it, because I really regret it and you're gonna pay for it one day. I don't know, guys, should I bite the bullet, get the laser tattoo removal? You know what, anybody who's watched up until this point, let me know if you have underwent laser tattoo removal for big, black, blotchy, like dark tattoos, and if it was successful or not, because maybe that will help me. When I was little, my mother and my Jewish grandmother used to say to me, your body is a temple, so treat it as such. And I really, really wish that I internalized that, because it runs through my head so much as an adult. So if you needed a sign not to get the tattoo, consider this one. Go to therapy, talk to your friends, play with the dog, go to yoga. Don't get the tattoo. Listen to Jewish grandma, listen to your mom. Treat your body like a temple. You're gonna regret it down the road if you get the stupid tattoo while you're going through something and it means nothing to you. If it really means something, get it, but don't just get tattoos on a whim, because you're gonna end up like me. It's all love though.
Please don't get a colored tattoo. I just left my 10th tattoo removal appointment, and after 10 sessions, they said that it's probably gonna be removed. Little did I know, they lied. The lady at Removery just told me that they cannot guarantee to remove your tattoo if it has color in it, which I didn't know when I bought my unlimited package sessions. They can't guarantee that I will ever be rid of this tattoo. If you're gonna get a tattoo, just get it in black, please. I got a colored tattoo and it has a black outline, so the black, it's still struggling right now after 10 sessions to be fully removed, and the pinks and the greens are holding on to dear life. Unless you're like so committed to it that you're like, I will never not want this tattoo, amazing for you, like live your truth. I was 19 when I got mine, and I don't even think 19-year-olds should be allowed to get tattoos, to be perfectly frank, but that's a whole other conversation. But don't get the colored tattoo.
They're all regretting their tattoos because they got them for the look, not because of what alternative people are about. So they're realizing as they get older that they actually don't like the lifestyle. They don't like being judged. They don't like the fact that they don't fit in with us and we clock it. So yeah, get them lasered off. We didn't want you here anyway.
When people tell me that I'm probably going to regret my tattoos when I'm like 40, 50, 60, never say never. However, I will say I'm not going to live today for a future that I might never see, especially in this insignificant way. Like, my tattoos don't really change my life whatsoever. Number two, if my biggest problem when I'm 40, 50, 60, 70 is that I don't like my tattoos, I'm actually going to count myself pretty lucky. So, I'll be okay. Thank you.
I wish I listened to people when they said I would regret getting fine line tattoos over the years, because at first I was like, no, they're so cute, they're so fun, whatever. And the past year I started really liking the traditional stuff more. But I have all of these that are just dainty. They're cute, they're very cutesy, but they're just not my thing anymore. So I just had to book a bunch of appointments to get all of these reworked and or covered. It's like, I just wish I waited until I knew the style that I wanted, but it could be worse. It could be like, if I had bolder tattoos and then wanted to get dainty, that would be pretty much impossible. So at least this is possible, but I wish I waited. That's all.
I regret my tattoo. The video of me getting my boyfriend's name tattooed on my forehead went viral. All of the big social media platforms, newspapers, radio stations were talking about it. And all I want to say is that I regret my tattoo, but not this one, because this is actually not a real tattoo. And the reason why I trick the whole internet is that I have a message to young people and all of the people who wants to get covered in tattoos. I want everyone to know that I regret my tattoos and you might regret yours when you get older. And as a person fully covered in tattoos, I feel like this is my responsibility to speak up, share my experience. And when people see me on social media, the first thing they notice about me is my tattoos. So if I influence people, I want to influence people in the right way. I remember when 10 years ago I was getting my first tattoos, and my mom, my friends were telling me all the time, Anna, you will regret your tattoos. And I didn't listen, maybe because they didn't have any tattoos. But if there was a person covered in tattoos saying they regret their tattoos, I would have listened. So like and share this video so we can together spread the tattoo awareness that no one really talks about.
Let's talk about tattoo regret, because apparently that's something I'm supposed to feel by now. I spent the last 10 years getting tattooed. A lot. But honestly, I don't regret any of my tattoos. Even the ones that maybe aren't my style anymore or I got when I was super young, I still don't feel regret. It's kind of like looking back on your past. You can't go back and edit those decisions. So why would I waste energy hating it? Like, yeah, maybe I wouldn't get that exact tattoo again today, but that version of me did. And she had her reasons, she was doing her best, and I can respect that. Tattoos are a timeline of who I've been, and I'd rather embrace that than pretend I've always been this version of myself. I think it's important to ask yourself if you truly love the tattoo community and the culture, or if you're just doing it because it's trending right now. Because this isn't like a fashion trend where you could just get rid of it and donate it once you don't like it anymore. This is a permanent decision. It's on you forever. So you gotta get real with yourself before committing to this. But for me, no regrets. Just vibes, and maybe better placement next time. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Literally, one of my biggest regrets in life was getting my chest tattoo. I made a mistake as a teenager, and at the time, it seemed like a great idea, but now I'm dealing with the consequences. The regret is real. And although the pain is subjective, and I'm a big baby, laser removal is super, super painful. The closest thing to describing it is, it feels like you're getting snapped with a burning rubber band. Since this is my 7th round, my skin is pretty cooked, so I use numbing cream at 2 hours before. Thankfully, Beth at the Removery Camelback is amazing. She's so comforting and makes the whole process as comfortable as possible with ice packs and cool air during the appointment. Afterwards, I celebrated with a mango bubble tea.